What's up, Legion? Welcome to I Still Call It Lariat. This is a pro wrestling podcast. This is one of the first normal episodes that we've had in a very long time, and it is to review the Raw after WrestleMania. I, of course, am Steve Zapf, your venerable leader, and with me today is a very special guest. He was on one of our recent review episodes. This is Mr. Slim Burgundy. How you doing today, Slim?
I mean, I'm doing pretty well, Steve, and all, as you can tell, a lot less hair.
I see that.
So
You are trimmed.
that it's,
you are
what can I say?
maintained, if you will.
You gave me the call, and I said I have to make sure I'm at least somewhat presentable, this time.
I mean, I'm in the same spot. I live in Florida, so I have to keep it maintained during the summer at least. Otherwise, it gets hot here, man.
Oh God,
it's hot.
Oh yeah.
It's
hot here too in Jersey, trust me.
Yeah, I feel you. So before we get into all things wrestling, let's go over. I'm going to go over our nonprofit organizations that we help and support. First is, of course, Tap Cancer Out is a series of jiu-jitsu tournaments that helps out with companies such as Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabel Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimball Comprehensive Cancer Center at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Ascents. The new one is the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and of course, everyone's favorite. Sorry, it's been a while since I've said this. Tom Coughlin's J Fund. That's right, the J Fund, guys. Everyone loves the J Fund. I know Slim is a Phillies fan, so he doesn't like Tom Coughlin, but he does like the J Fund. The other one that I
can say, honestly, sometimes, the fact of the matter is, if you're dealing with things like cancer and other,
it's
I'll
all
put
good.
Aside my dislike. Exactly.
The other one that we like to promote is, of course, the American Red Cross and their disaster relief, whether it is hurricanes, wildfires, blizzards in the southeast, which we don't normally get, and somehow we got them this year. Locusts, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, whatever it is, the American Red Cross helps out greatly. I highly recommend you guys helping out with any of these varying disaster relief funds that they do, even if it's donating your time. Sometimes your time is what they really need, and just the extra volunteer help. But guys, help out any way you can. I know a couple of weeks back, we had Mr. Brock from Twin City Double Up on over here, and he had regaled us with the story of his house burning down and how the American Red Cross was out to him in a matter of hours. Like, they were there and were handing him a gift card for $500 something to make sure that they were able to find a place to stay for the night and get whatever they needed. And he said every time he called them, whether it was for prescriptions or contact renewals or anything like that, they were always extremely helpful. So this is not just a matter of us helping out a company. It's a company that has helped us out as well. So I hold that very near and dear to my heart. And the last one is, this is the one that we push because we are wrestling fans, and that is Chris Bay's GoFundMe. I will push this until this is no longer a GoFundMe. Anyone who does not know the story of this, it is Chris Bay was doing a fairly routine move the night after a pay-per-view. He did a springboard cutter, landed improperly, and had to have emergency neck surgery. Chris Bay is beating the odds already. He wasn't supposed to be able to walk. He is standing and walking already. He is living a normal life, at least. I am hopeful. Selfishly, I want him to get back into a ring because he is that damn good. Unselfishly, I want Chris Bay to just be able to live life and be happy about everything and prove everyone wrong with everything. Do not let them tell you anything else, but I am super happy that every time we see him, he's doing better. What you got for us, Slim?
Can I throw one more into the mix there? And also,
you absolutely can, and I'll make sure
I
throw.
Those of you who are fans, if you remember Papa Stro Maestro from WCW, Papa Stro suffered a medical emergency, and there's a GoFundMe page that's also for him too, and all. So if you can go on his YouTube page, if you look up Papa Stro, it'll be on there, and
I'll have
has all the
links
info for that too.
for all of this on all of our show information, on all of our descriptions. I'll make sure I had the GoFundMe for Papa Stro as well. So whether you're watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify or Apple or one of the dozen other streaming apps that we are on right now, guys, there will be information for this. There will be links. Please help out however you can. All of these are very important and near and dear to our hearts. With that said, Slim, there's a rumor that we're supposed to talk about pro wrestling on this show. I've heard it.
What? No.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, Hound says that's slander a lot of times, but I think we're supposed to talk about wrestling.
I thought you had me on just for my wicked good looks. I don't know.
I mean, that is why I have you on. I'm ugly. I just wear it well. So we don't have. So the only thing we are really going to review today is the Raw after Mania. But I do want to touch on something because due to Mania being so big and the weekend of wrestling being so all encompassing in whatever city that Raw or that WrestleMania takes over, one of the big things was TNA, I believe, did what would be considered a premium live event also. TNA, I actually crowbar a little bit because they do both shows that are, if you subscribe to TNA Plus, are included in it, but they are pay-per-views. And then they do other shows that are, though they are on TNA Plus, you still have to pay a little bit of money for them. So they do actual pay-per-views, and they do what I consider PLEs. They're big shows, they're Bound for Glories and stuff like that are always pay-per-views, but they're less expensive if you go through the app, obviously. But they did a show from Vegas to coincide with NXT and WrestleMania, obviously. And during the show, one of the people that are friends to this show, someone who I've trained with, someone who, Slim, I believe you know, and that is Steve Macklin, won the newly christened TNA International title. He won it in a match with, I know Eric Young was involved in it, and I believe AJ Francis was the third guy involved in it. And this is a nice stamp of approval for a guy that I think is so amazingly talented. Steve Macklin does everything right in that ring and on that mic. And he's one of those guys that when you hear him cut a promo and he talks about kind of his life in the Marine, his life just in general, it comes across like, hey, this is real. What he talks about is real. And it's so rare that you find such a thing like that. So I'm super happy for Steve Macklin. That's the biggest thing outside of Mania coming out of this weekend. But let's get to Raw after Mania. This aired on April 21st, 2025, the year of our Lord. And it was obviously emanating from Las Vegas, as everyone else did. I believe this was the T-Mobile Arena again. It opened with its cold open was, of course, a WrestleMania recap. Its crowd is wild, like it always is for the Raw after Mania. I will say this before we get too far into the show. I think this is the best Raw after Mania that we've had in a few years. I feel like the last couple of Raws after Mania have been a little... I think people expected too much out of them. And going into this one, I was like, well, the last like 2 or 3 haven't been that great. And then we got into this one. I went, okay, I was wrong. This was a good one. This was good. Slim, what are your thoughts on this?
Considering I was at last year's in Philly, I have to say I thought last year's was pretty ruckus too. But I think with what you're saying as far as the actual stuff that went down.
The actual stuff that happens is a little underwhelming. I think the crowd is always huge. But I think that like last year's, there was no real surprises or anything afterwards. And then I think the year before in LA, like there wasn't anything like crazy that could have happened. And I don't remember, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't remember 3 years ago. So it could have been the most insane Raw after Mania ever. And you're lucky I remember 3 hours ago at this point. Show opens with our new undisputed WWE World Champion, John Cena. And I really liked this promo. We won't talk too much about the actual match that he had the night before. We have spoken about this already, you and I, on air on your show. But I will leave that to
we definitely have we've beaten that one with a dead horse.
We've beaten that horse already, yeah. But this promo was very good. I love Cena coming out and making the ring announcer re-announce him with his handwritten statement because the first one wasn't good enough, and then opens the promo up holding the belt saying, "Winners write history." Yeah, he's already catching me.
The irony is, as a person who is a historian, he's 100% correct.
He's absolutely
somebody
correct.
who is a historian like myself, he's 100% correct. The winner, you remember, I'm sure you've heard this saying before, to the victor go the spoils.
Exactly.
In this case, it's true. He was the victor. He's the champ.
And he's not wrong. Like, I'm kind of a history buff too, and I agree. Like, there's a lot of wars that they might have played out a little differently, but the fact of the matter is the winner gets to decide what the history books say sometimes.
They control the narrative.
So I like on Cena's belt, on the side plates for Cena, the one that says, one actually says 17-time champion. And I really like that. I like that that's one of his logos.
I didn't actually notice that.
Yeah, it was really cool. So one has like the normal Cena plate, and then the other one says like 17X or something like that. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm in for that. So I thought they were chanting "We are sorry" to Cena, and he said they're chanting "We aren't sorry." So I think, again, this might be a situation of winners write history, and Cena is telling us what they're saying, even if that's not what they're saying. Either way, I love it.
Honestly, I could have seen it go either way, and either way, I think it's awesome because it sends the message to, like, the whole promo was great because he drove home the message. I think for me, my personal favorite part was when he was talking about the number of appearances they have left.
The number of appearances. That was so good.
He went through. That was amazing. I love that because that really was. It was almost like he was a dickish heel, which is even better than just being a heel.
I really like the heel that he's portraying because he hasn't been a liar this whole time. Like, even when he came out and he was still wearing the Cena gear, and he's like, "I'm not going to change for you. I don't dress like you. You dress like me. You buy my stuff." And him talking about the dates drives home the fact that I didn't lie. I'm not lying about what I'm going to do. After 27 more appearances, I leave with this. Not 27 more matches, 27 more appearances. And that's huge.
And I love the way he hammered that home.
I have a theory, Slim. You can come along with me or shoot it down if you want. I think Cena holds this title possibly until the last Raw of 2025, which is like 2 days before New Year's. And the part of my argument for it is there's not a whole lot of people outside of like Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, or like a handful of other guys that it makes sense beat him. Like, this is his 17th title run, and we need to like have something special happen. I think the best way to leave him from this title run might be a Money in the Bank cash in. I think that might be where we go with it. Is there's like very
that thought process.
There's very few people that I could see doing it not as a normal cash in. Like, not, in all honesty, there's only one guy that I can think of that if they won Money in the Bank would cash it in, but like tell him, like, I don't care if you're leaving or not. Next Monday you're showing up because I'm challenging for that belt. And
probably Cody, right?
Cody falls into that. maybe Randy, but Randy has, he's the Viper. He does do heel
Yeah, I
tendency
think
stuff.
Randy's a little more of a sneak attack.
The one guy that I'm saying could do it, and if he holds that belt at the end of the year and then retains it at Mania, it almost erases what happened at this past Mania. Like, this is his getting one back, and that's Gunther. Gunther's a heel, but at the same time, he's the heel that I'm gonna wrestle.
I think more likely with Gunther, he would tell him it's going to happen. I think he would tell him it'll happen, but I don't think he necessarily would call him out. I think it would be more of it'll happen when you least expect it. You're going to think,
I could see that.
Oh, you're in the clear, and then I'm going to get. I think that's more likely. But to me, I 100% agree with you. Cena has to carry it throughout the entire year till his very last appearance.
I think he needs to do one of two things. If he
loses it, say next month.
I think it needs to be one or the other. He either needs to hold it for the rest of the time that he's here, or he needs to lose it to Orton at Backlash already. And I don't know if I like that
to
one.
Me, it almost. I don't. I like the idea of he has it to the very end. I mean, it feels like to me, if he doesn't, it almost feels like a waste.
I agree with you
in the first place.
I just think that I don't think there's any middle ground. Like, I don't see him losing this at SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either he wins it and loses it quick, and that either sends him one way or the other, or he holds it until December 20. I think it's December 29th is the last Raw. So, like, 2 days before the New Year.
Let me give you a surprise person to have him drop the title to. How about Bron Breakker?
I had said Bron Breakker. This is what I say about Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker today is not the guy that should beat Cena. But that doesn't mean that Bron Breakker in 5 months isn't the guy that should beat Cena.
And hence why I'm thinking if we wait until close, basically the end of the year, and it's towards the end, then you have that chance. Especially now that, well, I won't say too much ahead. I'm not going to jump ahead.
Don't want to bury the lead just yet.
Potential of Bron.
I will say this on the other side of that: Seth Rollins is a good choice if Cena somehow gets cheered so much by the end of this that Rollins would be a really good guy to do another heist of the century type situation.
Especially if he wins Money in the Bank, I could see him.
That's what I'm saying. Showtime said it. They're the two least trustworthy people in wrestling, in all of wrestling, are now with each other, with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Because I don't trust either one of them. And
that's true.
And our joke on our review show was, could you imagine if they go to double cross each other, and it just makes them closer? Oh, look how similar we are. I just have a better body than you, Paul. And Paul's no, you don't.
You'll appreciate this joke real quick though. There was a joke that was thrown out there, and I thought was very funny. There was Papa Stro was on earlier tonight with our podcast. We were reviewing WrestleMania for that podcast, and he said he was damn well expecting Jerry Lawler to come out and cost Cena the match and be like, 17-time motherfucker. I'm a 20, I'm a 30-something time champion.
Exactly. I think he's held 300 something titles. Of all things, Jerry Lawler. I was there the night Jerry Lawler.
Insane.
So this is one for you. I was there the night Jerry Lawler won the Jersey All Pro title. That's a thing. Jerry Lawler won the JAPW World or Heavyweight title. It was.
When was this?
Oh, this is early in my career. I was barely working at this point. That's how early it was. I was setting up rings. It was right when they started running that Rawway Recreation Center that they kind of ran until they stopped running as much. But I think it was. I might be mistaken, but I think.
Was that pre-cardiac incident?
Oh, it was a very pre-cardiac incident.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking like
Well, it has to be, because
2004.
that happened only a year or two before you started coming to New Moon. So, and
Yeah,
obviously you've been in the business
I
for a
want to
bit.
say this is, yeah, I want to say it was like 2004. 2004 sounds
Okay,
about right.
a little over
And
20 years ago.
yes, I'm aging myself that much,
What would that
guys.
put him? That would have.
I don't know what that puts him at.
You were
Puts me.
breaking into the business, and I was barely in the first grade. No, actually, I was very much not in the first grade. In fact, I was not even in high school.
Oh
So I'm
man,
old too.
they were. It was good. I think he actually won it from Shane Douglas. Just to give you an idea of how big Jersey All Pro was at the time. But let's get back on track a little bit. The show's first. Oh wait, I'm sorry. We never talked about Randy Orton comes out and RKO's John Cena from behind. And I thought the camera.
I put in my note there. Orton first challenger? Question mark.
I mean, he's got to be at Backlash. They've already advertised both Orton and Cena for Backlash, so they've got, and it's in St. Louis. So, and people don't win in their hometown, so I don't expect.
Going to be there.
Yeah, but like people don't win in their hometown, so I don't expect Orton to beat Cena.
Ooh, I see what you're saying, and all with that aspect of him winning at Backlash would make sense in that aspect. I hope not. I really want to see this as a long title reign. Actually, I think it's going to be. I'm even going to throw one other scenario. I would be okay with Cena even holding the belt and kind of pulling a Sting and retiring as champ. Even though I'm not a Cena guy. I'm not a Cena guy by any stretch, but even I would be okay with that.
I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think,
especially if that maybe is a way to retire that title.
I'm going to say it this way. First of all, they can't retire the title. I'm going to throw that one out there. They can't retire that title. They can't. And I'm going to say why. Because that exact title, that's the one with the lineage to the rest of the WWE.
True.
You can't retire. You can retire any other belt. If he was still holding the Universal title, the actual Universal title, you could have retired that belt. You could have retired the original World Heavyweight title. You can retire all those. You cannot retire the belt that has the lineage to Bruno Sammartino. You cannot retire the belt that has the lineage to Buddy Rogers. You can't. You can't retire that belt. So everyone who's saying like, oh, they have too many belts, like maybe they retire it, I don't think there's a world where that happens. And that's my real reasoning is at the end of the day, the true historian, I could see them combining the belt.
Unless they do the draft or a trade where Cena ends up getting the other title, then maybe
that's what I'm saying is I could see them unifying the title, if anything, but I don't see them retiring that belt. And I don't know. Again, maybe Orton is the guy that does it, and that puts him just that little bit closer to edging out Cena and Flair. And I don't mean at Backlash, I just mean in general. Maybe the rest of the year is Orton chasing number 15.
Yeah, but that is a possibility.
Let's get on to a match that, while not terrible, was not.
I mean, it was okay. It was all right.
I wasn't in love with this storyline. So, and that's the women's tag team title match.
You know what I said and all.
Yep. So the women's tag team title match with the newly crowned champions, 24 hours removed, the Mon, Becky Lynch, and Lyra Valkyria doing highly choreographed stuff versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Liv jumpstarts the match. So Slim, because I told you I would keep things even, let's talk about some referee stuff. Here is one of the things that I will be pissed off no matter who does it. Lyra makes a blind tag on the outside of the ring. She's on the apron. She makes the blind tag. I have so many things wrong with this. One, she doesn't tag her hand. That's a thing. That's in the rules. It should be a thing. Two, she's in the middle of the damn ring. She's nowhere near the corner. Hence, there is no way she's holding on to the tag rope. The whole reason for the tag rope is that is the distance you are allowed to leave the corner to make a tag. That is the legal distance. Now, it's not your fault if you're the Giant Gonzalez or Andre the Giant and you can fit 3/4 of the way across the ring. But the whole point of the tag rope is if you can hold the length of the rope and make the tag, then you can make the tag. She's nowhere near the rope. The rope is literally hanging there. I am mad about this. Again, not a bad match. Bad refereeing takes me out of this. Now, Slim, I know you had some ref admonishments on this match as well.
There was multiple times where the ref just stood there and stared at them when they're all either. There was one point where both Raquel and Liv were on the floor, and Lyra and Becky were in the ring. No count.
No count.
Not even saying anything. He just
that's where
staring.
I'm at. Is after having after my interview with Jim Molno, I give the no count some leeway sometimes. Not often, but where my leeway comes in on this is if you're on the outside of the ring and the ref comes out and says, guys, you got to get back in, and he hasn't started his count until he tells you that you have to get back in the ring, then I give you, then I give him the leeway. Like, hey, he told you, and now he's in the ring counting it down. But that's where the leeway, hey, I didn't start counting because the first thing I did was roll out to the ring and tell you have to get back in the ring. And now that you're not listening to me, now I'm starting a count on you. That's just a referee that's playing a little loose with the rules. And in our sports fan analogy, it's letting them play the game. Like, I'm going to let you, and it's a championship match. I'm letting you go a little looser because there's a championship on the line, but I'm still going to hold you to the rules. So, and I think we can agree on that one, right?
If he had said something, if he said like, "Hey, why are you? One of you's got to get out, the ring,
exactly,
and back up and allow," then at least I could say, "Okay." But no,
that's what I'm saying is, yep. See, like I said, I'm agreeing with you. That's where that has to come in, is because again, this match wasn't bad. But if
it was fine. It was a good match.
But if those think about if those little things happened and now you have to play around the ref the right way, the match becomes that much better, man. I'm a big believer in that. Like, use the ref to your advantage. Use him the right way. He's the third guy, or in this case, the fifth guy in the ring. Like, use them the right way. My big problem with this match is I really, really hope Bayley is actually injured.
Well, they made it sound like, what did they say? She had a partially
torn labrum, which I've had surgery on my torn labrum before. It takes a little while to get done. Rhea's shoulder stuff was a partially torn labrum, and they said she didn't need surgery. So if she actually has something like that, and even if they're going to have to play it off, they're going to have to say that she's out for the next 3 months, even if she's not hurt. Now, the other side that I have on this is if Rhea's not hurt, if Bayley's not actually hurt, we could have done this exact same storyline last night, and I would have enjoyed it more with Bayley. I would have enjoyed
much better with Bayley.
I would have enjoyed Bayley turning on her. I would have enjoyed them losing the title, and that's why Bayley turns on her. We get heel Bayley. We get maybe not Karen heel Bayley. We just get mean girl. Like I said on your show, I think it was, I want her to be the anti-hugger. Like, all the hugs and all the niceness that you did, like, now you're just gonna be terrible to people and not call them stupid idiots. You're gonna actually be terrible. You're gonna start just laying into people and, like, give Bayley the IC title and have Lyra win it back, or have them, like, trade it back and forth a few times. Make this women's IC title mean something. And don't get me wrong, if Becky faces Lyra, it might legitimize the IC title, this women's IC title. But also, is there a world where we see Becky Hogan not win this Intercontinental title if she starts feuding for it? And yes, I did. I'm sorry, would you prefer Hollywood Becky?
I actually do like Hollywood Becky a lot. That is a very good
Terry
analogy.
Bicola. I'm just going to play on all the Hogan terminology I can at this point. I'm always trying to find out weird names
no
for
ifs,
people.
ands, or buts. The Man will win the women's Intercontinental title if once they start feuding. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go two things. First thing, real quick, back to the match itself. I did have one last note that pissed me off.
Okay.
Raquel, at the very end, actually made a tag on.
That's right. I remember you saying this to me off air.
So if you see her hand, technically her hand does a little forward motion and hits the back of Liv. That would be construed as a tag.
Especially since you've already set up that standard. You've set that precedent earlier in the match.
Even though she was towards the end of the ring, or whatever in the middle there, you sent that up as the ref. You allowed it. Therefore, technically should have been a tag, and therefore Raquel should have been the legal woman in the ring. That's my match gripe. My storyline gripe is I hate with a passion when they do this kind of stuff. I hate we're going to win it, and then the next night, win it at WrestleMania, and then the next night right away lose it. I'd rather you want to lose it at Mania and have the turn happen at Mania. How freaking cool would that have been? That's
what I'm saying.
You got Becky Lynch's back, but they lose the match and she friggin' manhandle slams and attacks and manhandle slams multiple times Lyra. My God, the heat would have been even on a nuclear level, even more. So than
this is the other one I'm going to give you. The crowd starts chanting one more time. So we've decided that the crowd in Vegas is completely turned. The entire crowd is heels. They've cheered. They did nothing but cheer for heels all weekend. So the crowd is heels. But here's the thing: is them chanting one more time, and Becky comes back and does more. That's face thing to do. That's a very face thing to do, and I got a little mad about it. I was like, she should have walked over like she was going to do it. I would have loved it. Like, could you imagine if she picked her up, made it look like she was going to manhandle slam her again, and then just threw her on the ground? Like, didn't do anything, just threw her like, you're not even worth my time. And then looked at everybody and was like, I'm the man, you're not the boss. And left. Like, screw you guys. You don't tell me what to do.
Would have been
I'm the man.
Perfect.
Again, exactly. Guys, I am for hire. I am for sale. So, Papa H, you need somebody. I know you don't listen to me as much, but TK, Big Tony, I know you listen to us every week. I know it. I don't have a contract with anybody, buddy. You can.
I mean, hell, at this point, TNA. If TNA wants to call MLW,
I got a fancy pen right here, just to sign with you guys. I'll write you out of all the holes. Don't worry, I got this. Let's segue into the New Day segment with this, which I loved the New Day walking out and Karrion Kross giving them the smile and the nod, because Karrion Kross is gold as far as I'm concerned. And the only thing that I'm upset about this whole New Day angle is that it took this long to get a payoff. But
I'm actually pretty happy the New Day had new entrance gear, new entrance music. Like, that was good.
I like the new music.
They needed a refresh in that aspect, and it was about time for that.
Have you noticed that, Kofi without the mustache looks even more heelish? Like, there's something just
kind of
almost creepy looking about Kofi without the mustache. Like, just the beard, just the Abraham Lincoln thing going. I like them as heels. I don't know. Maybe it's too many years of them doing the normal New Day shtick. And, it seemed like they tried to do the New Day shtick, but as heels. And everything with this promo seemed very over-dramatized. Like, it just didn't feel like they weren't talking naturally. They weren't speak like how we would talk right now. And as a heel, I kind of want
I'd hate to say this, but they are probably one of the most scripted tag team Like they are
that doesn't surprise me.
extremely scripted.
But
Like
this
even
whole
to the point where I want to be like, Paul, let them have a little time to just
exactly.
say if they said what was on their mind, what a difference it would make. Because you're right, it
Well, and
feels
this was
like
very
even we feel it.
yeah, and this whole thing was we are like they did the whole we're your WWE tag team champions and like, but Xavier kept that voice the whole time, and Kofi kind of didn't talk that much, but like I'll give you the example that I want. The segment that they did where they turned on Big E, that was quiet. Like they were serious about it. If they did their promo like that from now on, I would be fine with it because they're not the same New Day. They're this New Day. They're a new day. A nuevo day, if you will. And like
honestly, I liked that promo they did where they kicked because it felt so real and legit with the Big E one.
And that's what I
everything
wanted.
else since it feels so forced. It feels like it's all scripted.
Yeah, I want that real emotion, and they gave us real emotion. And then we get Alpha Academy coming out to challenge for the titles.
Why? At this first off, what have they done to this is what pisses me off with WWE. And that why are the Alpha Academy able to come out and challenge for a tag title match? What have they done? Who have they beaten? Have they even been on TV in the last 2 months?
Not that I fully remember, but
maybe a backstage promo or two.
I'll give them this. They at least gave you enough reason. So this is my only defense, is at least they said the last time they were in the ring together, they beat them in 60 seconds. You're the current tag team champions.
Yeah, but I would have been like, that was a very different New Day. That would be my argument. It's a very different New Day.
And you could say like, well, that was 2 months ago, and you haven't done anything since then. Like we went on a tear. I agree, but at least they gave you some.
Within the last 2 months, we won the tag titles. We're the tag champs now. Obviously, we've done a hell of a lot more than you have. Like that kind of mindset.
And I mean, the real reason for them being out there is because Tozawa is small and athletic, and Otis is huge and impressive when he gets beat up. And we need a cannon fodder because on April 21st, 2025, it is Rusev Day. Rusev Day! Every day is Rusev Day, but I believe the original Rusev Day was actually the week of April 19th or April 20th or something when they did the first Rusev Day. So this actually does make sense. Yeah, it all comes full circle. Also, he looked amazing. I like the bald-headed look on him. He looked great. He's slimmed down just enough where he doesn't look too trim. Like, he still looks monstrous. He had a good look. I think I realized one of the things that he did do since leaving WWE was he grew out the full beard instead of just like the goatee or like the chin strap into the goatee. And it looks so much more menacing. Like, he looks like a monster. Honestly, if Rusev won the world title, I wouldn't be mad about it at this point. I don't know which one he's going to win. It's not going to happen.
But he's going to be. I'm giving it 3 months at most, and then he's going to be relegated to. Because remember all the hype that what's his name came back to the Idolo. What the heck's his name?
Oh, Andrade. Rusev's a little different though. Andrade. Rusev's a little different than Andrade, though, too. Andrade puts on a decent match. Rusev has a real character to him and, like, endears himself to fans. The only counterpoint I'm going to make is I think, and he speaks actual English. Andrade, from what I've understood by other people who speak Spanish fluently, even his Spanish promos aren't that interesting. So what do I care about his English promos that are broken?
I mean, if he does the Redeemer style character, then I would be on board with that because that was one of the things in AEW he was doing that I loved was that Redeemer style character.
And that's the thing is
he was so
it's so weird that they did, like, I don't understand why they didn't start him with that. I'm sure that was his idea. I never understood the AEW having him be Kip Sabian's best friend. That was dumb. And they had him come out wearing the pink Mickey Mouse shirt and playing video games. He's a monster. Have him be a monster. And having him toss Otis around, that's pretty monster-like. Say what you will about Otis, he's a joke and all that. He's still a 300-something pound dude that has a Division I wrestling background. You know, he's real.
Like I said,
he can be real at least.
Oh, I get that aspect, but we'll see. I think 3 months he's gonna, Rusev's gonna be back on the bus. Everybody's gonna forget about him, or not forget about him. The fans are gonna be like, "What the hell?" But the but the bookers are gonna, the powers that be are just gonna go, eh. Same thing when Malachi Black comes back and all, or Aleister Black, whatever one was his character in WWE.
It was Aleister in
I'll give that
WWE.
3 to 4 months at most.
So Aleister might be the only one that I slightly disagree with, only because Triple H was big on him. Like, Triple H was actually big on him. Most of that, like, the entrance and stuff that Malachi, Aleister, Tommy End, whatever you want to call him, most of that stuff was Triple H's doing. So, like, a lot of the cool stuff that Black did in WWE, that was Triple H stuff. That was, like, the top end of Triple H being allowed to be a little creative. And I could see if they transfer some of the cool stuff that he did in AEW, even though it was kind of few and far between at this point, and just brought it to WWE, I think it would be... I think he has the potential to do a lot. He has to stay healthy, and they have to have the faith in him again. Well, that's a big issue
for him, his health.
It's his health.
But I think the problem is he's many a time been given the ball to run with, and he fumbles it repeatedly. He did it on the main WWE show. He did it in AEW. Like, I hope for his sake he can, maybe with Triple H's,
I think with Triple H in charge,
maybe he can. But I don't know,
because let's face it, he's not a Vince guy, and I'm sure they brought him up like, oh, he's got a lot of heat down in he's got a lot of heat down in NXT, and when they brought him up, Vince was like, this guy, really? And then on AEW, the only I've heard in AEW he was hard to work with. At the same time, I think it's because he's a little bit more of a grown-up than they are in AEW sometimes. I'm just saying. I could see him being hard to work with, kind of like how
I've heard he was hard to work with, but the reason I heard he was hard to work with, I heard he was very protective of the character and wants to do his things a certain way, which I'm okay with. Look, I understand that. I respect that. Protect your character, protect your brand. I get that. So I think, and let's be honest, I'm a very big believer that it's a two-sided, I'll tell you what I tell people all the time. Whenever there's conflict, there's one person's perspective, the other person's perspective. The reality is more in the middle.
If
that makes sense of what I'm saying.
Clearly, you and I were not in the locker room during any of this, and we don't know the man personally, so we can't... any of the men personally, truthfully. We don't know anyone we don't know Tony Khan or the Bucks or anything like that, so we can't speak to one side or the other. Right after this, there's a quick backstage Judgment Day segment. I thought this was very well done, and at the end of it, I'm going to say this, Carlito is gold, and I think the Carlito that we get now is almost like the exact opposite of the Carlito that we got when he, like, in his first run, where, like, I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool, and now it's like he's jumping for attention. Like, we said it during the review show, is like, he's like, please tell me it's still cool. Like, do you want an apple? Apples are still cool, right?
I do appreciate that.
And like what
and like the fact that he was like, I got to go see the doctor.
Yeah,
I love that. Was so funny the way he said it.
Carlito is the guy right now that if they broke up the Judgment Day, regardless of whether they do or they don't, I want Carlito to team with R-Truth. Like, that's what I want in my world.
But the
I
problem
want
is, it would be so, here's my issue. Both of them are so damn talented that it almost angers me that they get written off as just being jokes. And that, I get it. I mean, they're still getting paid. They're still making good money. You
they're
know, I'm
making
sure they're
good money
very
and they're
happy
getting
with
paid.
that aspect. But as a wrestling fan, I'm like, oh, they're so damn talented in the ring. I want to see more of that kind of stuff.
See, I think they could maybe play with a tag team title with tag teams. I think they can play a little bit because Carlito and R-Truth, like I'll throw it back to the New Day. The New Day were kind of goofy, but when it was time to be serious, they were
You're
serious. Right. I think Carlito and R-Truth could
True.
at this point could pull that off because they're that talented. Let's get it. So I'm going to start with the first half of this next segment, and that's EO's promo, which was about as good as I think we're going to get out of EO for a promo right now. I don't think it wasn't bad.
Say this, her English has improved.
It's definitely improved.
But I kind of like when she does. I kind of like when she talks in Japanese. I wish she would talk in Japanese a little bit more. I kind of like that for her.
I like that. I also like that. I like the version of her that's not so animated. Like, I don't like, same thing with Asuka. I say this about Asuka all the time. I don't like the idea of them being caricatures of what Americans think little Japanese girls act like. Yes, and Asuka is a prime example. And the difference is like Asuka, I think Asuka does it on purpose. Like, this is Asuka's gimmick. EO, I don't mind her being a little bit more subtle and like, hey, I'm a great wrestler. And I'm a big believer that EO, as far as all the Japanese wrestlers that have come in, may have been the best transition of any of them. Now, Julia,
just for the record, though, can you tell me what exactly is she does this? What is she doing? Is she trying to go like almost like do a form of this to say like I'm loco? Like, maybe. It almost looks like she's like trying to like jack off two people, one on each side. That's
it might be. I mean, look, I don't know. Next time I go to jiu-jitsu with her, I'll ask her. But like, I don't know. She's super talented in the ring, and us getting Stephanie Vaquer coming out, and then getting a Stephanie Vaquer versus
was a nice little surprise with the Stephanie Vaquer coming out.
That was why. So you and I were talking about this going in, and I was like, just wait until you get to the EO segment. I was like, because you get this match is so good. This is everything I want in a work rate match. This was perfect. And I actually liked
it started to me. I thought it started slow. I thought there was a lot of issues the first 5 minutes of the match where they were just whatever reason were not on the same page. But after about the first 5 minutes, it started to click. You could see it going much better.
It gets good. I think once they got their pacing going, I think that was it. I think they need to get their pacing. So I'm going to ask you this. How do you feel about these?
Can I ask you real quick before you go into the match itself? Before you do, I got one other thing to ask you.
I'm going to laugh if it's the same question I was going to ask you.
With Pierce, about Pierce?
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, about Pierce starting the match.
My question is, why? What you're already going to do the match. Why are you asking the fans? Do you want to see it? Like, no. I would love it if the crowd was just like, no, we really don't.
And this crowd might have been. This crowd might have been the one that said it because this was a heel crowd. So I'm going to ask,
or at least I'm pretty sure they did, but
yeah, they just cheer.
I hate that kind of stuff. It's so stupid when they do that kind of stuff. I just was curious of what your thoughts were on
that. I actually wanted your thoughts on this one though too. Is what do you think of all these like the patches that they're promoting now? The debut on the main roster patch. All the wrestlers during during Mania had a Mania patch. I understand it.
I actually did make a note on that too, by the way.
So I get it's a money grab, but also given who they're partnered with, the whole TKO group, UFC doing stuff like that on their fighters shorts and things like that. I think the idea is to make it feel like the Super Bowl or the World Series. like how the hat has a special patch during the World Series, and like Super Bowl has a special patch on their uniform. I think it's supposed to make it feel like that.
It is.
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you my exact quote. You ready? I'm going to give you my exact quote. And this is what, and I quote. I wrote down "stupid patch for cards."
I think that's the thing. Is I think my point is I don't like that it's just a money grab. That's all it is. It's not the same because I can't buy.
It's a chance to
sell those cards.
Partnering up with the trading card company. What is it, Topps or whatever. It's partnering up with Topps. Topps pays them licensing fees and stuff, so they can make more money. That's all it is.
It's exactly.
It's a money grab. Now they can promote it and say, "Oh my God, you got to get. This is only going to be one of blah 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 number of cards. You got to get this one with the patch."
Exactly.
So people will go. So all the marks. Well, sorry, did I use an insider term?
Yes.
So
we're all marks.
You know, I know. So the
all
marks will go to the store and spend their money. And
so I'm gonna get back onto this match because my note here is this match kind of keeps going, and I was really happy that it kept going. Like this was one of those matches where like there was a match during Mania where I was like, man, this match could have ended 10 minutes ago, and I would have been happier. I think the AJ match, if it had ended about 10 minutes earlier, I would have been happier. This was not that.
After about 2 minutes, I would have been happy.
This match was not that. This was not that. This match could have lasted another 5 minutes before they did the interference, and I would have been so happy. Let's first off, I like to try to call out moves every so often. One, Stephanie
I actually was about to say that corner dragon leg whip was really what I hope you pointed that out.
Okay,
I have that written down.
So that's nasty. I'm gonna go with the Stephanie Vickers tilt-a-whirl into a schoolboy. Oh my God.
That was nice.
And she did it, and it was because she rolled all the way over where like she had all of her weight on Io's legs for the schoolboy. Like, again, chef's kiss. Like the way she did it was perfect. The other one is Io answering that by hitting that double underhook backbreaker because she had Stephanie straight up and down for it and then twisted her onto that backbreaker. And I was like, those are some sick moves. I'm not even mad that the end of this match was interference because
I just didn't understand what the purpose of it was.
So I'm going to tell you the purpose.
I understood to the extent of Roxanne because she's about to challenge for the NXT title. So I understood her, but the others getting involved, I didn't quite get.
So Julia has been chasing back after the NXT title. But I'll give you the real reason. The real reason why I'm okay with the interference. Just interference in general in this. This should have ended with interference. Like, we shouldn't have gotten a clean winner out of this. And the reason why is...
You would or wouldn't have wanted a clean winner?
I didn't want a clean winner this time. Let me clarify. I don't want a clean winner on this match between these two on this night. Because one is the NXT champion and the other one is the Women's World Champion. They're both so good that I don't want clarity on who is better today. I want clarity on who is better when Stephanie gets called up onto the main roster. In a year, when Stephanie's on the main roster,
sooner than later.
That's what I'm saying. You want to give me Io versus Stephanie next year at WrestleMania, whether it's for a title or not for a title, just for respect, just to find out who the best is before one of them challenges for a title? Yeah, I'll take that. Then I want to see who the best is.
I don't even think you'll have to wait till WrestleMania next year. I think it's going to be SummerSlam.
I don't think so either, but like Stephanie has come over and been awesome. Awesome. You know what? I'll give AEW its due. Her match with Mercedes was amazing. And her coming in the way she did to WWE, she could have just rested on her laurels, and she has not been doing that. I think she
gets it. You could tell she has a wrestling mind, which is good.
Yeah, she's a star. She is a star. And that's the thing, it's not just getting it, she has it.
Yes.
So
there were a couple other moves I wanted to point out real quick too.
Oh yeah.
that I thought was actually really cool. Vakor did that thing where she grabbed Io's head in between her knees
Yeah,
and
the
slammed her head
devil's
into the mat
kiss.
repeatedly. That was awesome.
So
That was really cool. Sorry,
and
I'm
Charlotte
gonna watch
stole
what
it
I'm
at
saying because
Mania.
I hate that chant.
Oh yeah.
See, that would have pissed me off so much. You're like, come on now. And then also the Spanish Fly, I thought looked really good. I thought the Spanish Fly had to be
I
called
thought
out.
the Spanish Fly
Io
looked really
did a
good too.
very, very good Spanish Fly.
I thought.
Now,
I always hate using this term.
I had
Okay.
One of my criticisms is actually about the fans, and this is just a general thing across the board. The "This is awesome" chant. I'm sorry, it is so overdone. It's actually quite annoying. The "This is awesome" chant should be saved for something so special.
I agree with you, and this is where I'm going. This is one of my big critiques with not just the fans. This is one of those things that I have a critique of the current business. Wrestlers, workers, the boys, the girls, they no longer chase heat. They chase the chant. They chase the holy shit chant, and they chase the "This is awesome" chant and the "Fight Forever" chant instead of chasing heat.
I agree with that. I also made a note that as the "Fight Forever" chant was stolen, as that's the stolen AEW chant, as I called it, because that's something I've never heard that in WWE. I've only heard that in AEW. So
I've heard it in NXT. I can tell
it was more of a AEW style of a crowd, like as far as like more like heavy wrestling fans versus the quote unquote casuals.
So, the "Fight Forever" chant, the first time I heard it was old Black and Gold brand NXT, like original NXT. When NXT was basically WWE's answer for Ring of Honor. That was the first time I'd heard it. But let's, I liked it. I like the show of respect between Rhea and Io at the end. While saying, I'm going to come back after this title. I wouldn't mind seeing Rhea not go after the title for a little bit. Like, if they veered her off just for a little bit.
I would have been okay with that if it was a one-on-one match at WrestleMania and Io won. I didn't like that because then I'm waiting going, all right, well, where's Bianca going to come out to say something? Like, it just felt...
Well, Bianca took the pin.
Didn't like that. I didn't like that.
That's kind of the thing is Bianca took the pin, so she doesn't have much to say at this point.
That's true. At least Rhea can say, I didn't get pinned.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Jey Uso celebration. So, I have written here, and you and I have spoken.
How amazingly over that crowd was with him. That crowd
he's so
was
over.
Absolutely just.
We spoke about this though.
Insane how.
You and I spoke about this. I am liking Michael Cole less and less these days. He's not quite Tony Schiavone.
I made notes on that and all.
Oh yeah, like we spoke about it. Showtime and Hound and I all spoke about it. How he's just like missing calls and stuff like that. I think he just feeds off McAfee at this point, and it's hurting him more than it's helping him now. I think originally it was helping him.
In the last match between Io and Vakor, first off, McAfee couldn't say her damn name right the entire time, which pissed me off. Had the respect to learn her damn name.
Yeah.
You know, Stephanie Vakor. He kept saying every other thing, and then he was repeating whatever Cole would say. Literally, Cole said something. I didn't write down exactly what Cole said, but he literally just said it, and then 2 seconds later, McAfee says it. It's just like, dude.
Yeah.
And you're right. You can tell Cole is feeding off, because you can even tell when Cole was almost admonishing the fans when he was saying after the whole thing with Gunther. It was almost like he was admonishing the fans, and it was kind of, honestly, like, I took it as a slap in the face to me. Like, what the heck?
I agree.
Not me specifically, but you know.
But to the Jey celebration, you're right. He is so over. I think this is still a little bit of an experiment, though. Like, let's see where he is after Backlash, and I think after Backlash, we're going to see if that's I think that'll be a decision on whether or not, coming out of SummerSlam at least, he's still the world champion. I don't think he has a super lengthy title run. But I don't think he needs it.
I hope they give him time to find that spot of where, like, that perfect spot. I don't think they will either. I think they're going to be quick to pull the trigger of doing something different, and that's a shame. But a couple of notes I did make.
I thought Sammy was going to double cross him.
Thank you. I was literally, that's one of the things I wrote. I said Sami Zayn hugs Jay, set up for heel turn ?
Yep, I really thought
I did absolutely think that too.
And everyone else that I talked to said the same thing. Like, they were like, I really thought he was gonna like explode or suplex him when he hugged him, or like when he was standing up on the turnbuckle and he was just standing there staring at him. I was like, he's gonna.
Can we just say that it was a really weird, awkward moment, right?
It was
really
wasn't
just
weird.
Me. I was like, this is kind of awkward.
And I think Jay, in general, I said this about his celebration at Mania too. He feels it feels like he's still a little uncomfortable being by himself. He at the end of his match with Gunther, I'll give him enough to say maybe he was blown up. You're in front of 60,000 people. You're wrestling for the world title. You're on Mania. The lights are brighter than they've ever been. But he almost didn't look happy after winning it. And then even during this Raw, he almost didn't look happy after winning it. And I was like, or during the celebration, I was like you look like you're getting ready for Sammy to double cross you. Like you look like,
or Jimmy,
you look like you're waiting
Jimmy,
for
when Jimmy came out. Even Jimmy came out after a while, and it almost felt a little awkward too. In that,
it felt like, awkward.
Maybe Jimmy's gonna potentially do something, right? Can we say? Is it safe to say that Yeet is the new what?
I mean, yeah. Yeet.
And one other note I wrote down. One other thing I wrote down. I want to know your thoughts. I get we're gonna get something coming up, but I wrote down in the moment. Why no Gunther response to the loss of Mania within that moment? Like, why was Gunther? They called, and it wasn't like Gunther wasn't mentioned. He called him out. He said you tapped out. So it wasn't like Gunther did not. It wasn't like Gunther was like, well, why should I come out there? They never mentioned me. Of course they did. They said you tapped out. You know, exactly. you couldn't hang. You tapped.
I again, some type of long-term storytelling with him. I feel like this is going to be Gunther loses his mind a little bit and goes on some sort of tear, and like that's the whole choking everybody out at this point. But we'll see.
I think they're setting up. I think they're going to set up a Backlash McAfee versus Gunther.
I think so, or SummerSlam.
I absolutely.
I think it might be SummerSlam, honestly,
or SummerSlam. Yeah,
I think it'll be SummerSlam. I think they're going to do a bigger event for it.
So do you write off McAfee for a while? Are they gonna write McAfee off for a little bit by doing that? You think?
I mean, I think they have to write him off one way or another. If they take him to SummerSlam, they have to write him off afterwards because then he starts College Game Day.
Yeah, true.
So they have to do something with it. Let's talk about one of the segments that I love, because I love him, and that's AJ Karrion Kross. I love Karrion Kross. I love everything Karrion Kross is doing.
And I did make a notation. I said, "Is start a feud?" ?
It's got to be.
I think they're laying the foundation for them to start feuding.
I think they're laying the foundation for Karrion to start being allowed to do cool stuff finally. He's coming up onto a new contract, and I think with the new contract, they're going to let him do main event-ish stuff finally. Because he should be. Did you hear the promo he did after Mania?
Why was he not? What did he? Yes, I did hear about that
on Sam Robertson's show or whatever. Mm-hmm. That was, I'm gonna call it what it is. That was Karrion Kross's pipe bomb.
Yeah, people are like, it absolutely was.
Like, people are like, do you think he's in trouble for that? I was like, I don't think he's in trouble. I think they said, go show us what you can do. I think that was that situation was, here, go, you wanted your shot, here's your shot. Go show us. and he went
I
out and
almost
showed.
kind of took a different. I think in a way, I think it was him saying, "I'm going to take it. You don't want to give me it. That's fine. I'm going to take it." And I
Exactly.
think a little bit more. I thought it was a little bit more of that. I thought it was a little bit more of, "I'm going to force your hand to realize of the goods work I can do." That's how I took it. But again, maybe you're right. Maybe they just said, "Here, here's your moment, son. Go make something happen."
Sorry.
What was Vince's issue with him? Like, Karrion Kross could wrestle too. He's got a good look. He has a good gimmick, and he can wrestle. I'd never understood what Vince's issue was with him.
He's kind of a Vince guy, right? Like, coming up from NXT,
It has that feel like he was, yeah.
He's 6'4". He's 250 pounds. He's he's jacked.
And he's jacked.
He's got the girl. He has everything, including the stuff that Vince doesn't want. The ability to wrestle.
I know it now. I know what the problem was. He wouldn't let Vince sleep with his wife. How sad is it that we have to say that and not all completely joking when we say stuff like that now?
Oh, man.
Like, how sad is that?
I don't know. I just want
thing when it's like, am I joking or am I being serious? It's kind of a little bit of both.
I will tell you the two things that I want to see. I want two feuds even more than I want to see Karrion versus AJ. I do want Karrion Kross involved with guys.
I want Karrion versus AJ too. I think that'll be. Really
I want Karrion and AJ. Don't get me wrong. And I want to see them do it the right way, not the way they tried to do it last time, where they got like 4-minute matches. I want real matches. I want them to go out there and put on a 10-minute match, and then a 15-minute match, and then like a 20-minute pay-per-view banger. Like, that's what I want. I want Karrion and Bron Breakker to go at it.
That would be fun.
I want those two big dudes to just throw heavy stuff at each other. I want Bron to throw him with a German or a belly to belly, and I want Karrion to hit that Saito suplex on Bron. I want them to hit all of those nasty moves that they hit on each other. The other feud that I want to see, it's clobbering time. I want to see him and Punk, and I think him and Punk could do a Punk and Drew style angle. I think they could pull it out of each other.
Drew and Karrion have that similar
look,
build,
similar build,
look,
similar delivery. Yep. And I think once you say to Kross, "Hey, you can just go out there and do whatever," because Punk's just going to do whatever. I think you get really great stuff.
You're right. I think that would be really good.
I think if you get those two feuds out of him after the AJ feud, give me a reason why you don't push him towards a world title. Because I don't see it.
Especially because you might have a situation where Jay, maybe you just it's time for Jay to drop the belt. I think Karrion would make for a great one to.
I think Karrion would be
too. I think Karrion and Jey Uso would be a great.
I think that would be a lot of fun. Like, hey, everything that you think people are saying behind your back, they are. I could see Karrion saying something like that to him. He's
the kind of guy who just you feel like he can get in your head and be a manipulator.
I love the fact that even his shirt is the Puppet Master now. It's amazing. It's so perfect. So let's talk about Gunther losing it and trying to cut.
Before we do the Gunther losing it, can I ask you about WWE Unreal? Are you like, why are we doing stuff like this? Like.
Because Netflix has a contract and they're trying to get as much out of WWE as they can for their contract.
Fair enough.
I'll give you the simplest answer, which is also a financial answer. Netflix is paying WWE $5 billion, billion with a B, to show their product. You give them what they want at that point.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah, no, you're right about that.
I hate that.
I got to get your thoughts on the Unreal.
Yeah, like I have to accept that certain aspects of kayfabe are gonna be dead, super dead and buried. Listen, the person that kills kayfabe more than anyone is the member of their board. Goddamn Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock.
No one kills kayfabe worse than The Rock does.
No, you're right.
All right, so Gunther loses it and comes out and shoves Cole and McAfee and then tries to choke him out, and Pat saves him. And then Pat gets choked out, and the entire Pat McAfee show comes out except for AJ Hawk, because if AJ Hawk jumped the barrier, I don't know who was going to stop him. The only guy that they had out there that could have stopped AJ Hawk is maybe Jason Jordan. And
I don't know who any of those people are, except for AJ Hawk. I actually do know who AJ Hawk is.
AJ Hawk, but I mean Jason Jordan from WWE, like actual Jason Jordan, like the guy that did Kurt Angle's son gimmick. He's the only one that out of the producers that were out there might have been able to stop AJ Hawk, and that's because of his actual amateur wrestling.
I was wondering. I didn't know who the people who were trying to get. I thought they were fans to try to get.
No,
in.
they were.
So
they were.
Now that makes more sense.
Yeah, they were the guy. They were the other host of the Pat McAfee show.
He has other hosts. Oh dear God!
I mean, there's other people on the show with them.
Are they doofuses, or did they sell their soul to be with that moron?
Yes and yes. I mean, AJ Hawk's on the show. I mean, they get a lot of people that are on that show every day. Aaron Rodgers is on that show almost every day. Bill Belichick's on that show almost every day.
Aaron Rodgers spouting his conspiracy theories and stuff.
You know what? It's actually, I think part of the reason why I watch the show is because it's the only time that I hear Aaron Rodgers not spouting conspiracy theories. He actually gives analysis of sports.
Oh, he's no longer spouting I guess they told him he needs to knock it off or he can't come back on the show.
No, I think he just does it in his personal life and on his Twitter.
Gotcha. I did make a couple notes from this.
Okay.
Cole and McAfee put in sleeper hold. In parentheses, I wrote, "Thank God," with a bunch of exclamation points. I said, match between McAfee and Gunther, ? Why, ? Who cares, ? McAfee has extremely dumb look on his face.
That's just his face.
If you noticed, he had that really dumb look on his face the entire time.
That's kind of his face. I think
he accidentally did legitly. Well, it might be his actual face. I think he legitimately swallowed some gum or like accidentally swallowed wrong. I think he was legitimately choking a little bit.
He might have tried to oversell it.
From the human being standpoint, it's possible he was trying to do that, and I think he ended up like a dumbass, making it worse for himself by by overselling it. It almost came across like, dude, come on.
All right, so after that whole fiasco, we get Dirty Dom's first title defense against Penta.
I thought that was a great match.
We agree then. I truly enjoyed this match. I love JD McDonough coming back. I love that Finn looked really cool.
My only issue with JD getting involved and the rest of them getting involved is it kind of defeats the purpose of the fact that Dom is now a babyface. I'm sorry, but the fans said no, you are now a babyface.
So is Dom a babyface, or again, do I just go back to the fans have all gone heel now at this point?
I think he was starting to get cheered even before WrestleMania weekend.
He definitely was. So he did in his match with Gunther.
I think he's starting to win over some of the fans. No matter how much he's trying, it's almost like he's trying and it's not working. He's not winning. He's winning over the fans without meaning to win over the fans.
Yeah, I agree. My thing with this whole match and the whole segment was when JD came back, Finn looked confused about it. Like he didn't even know that JD was coming back. They're supposed to be best friends.
Of selling it, like, wait a second,
why didn't he know?
I think that's going to be. Well, it's kind of goes back to in the back when they were in the back and all, and he's laughing, everything's great, and then they see him. You see that little zoom in, and there's Finn staring at the Intercontinental title,
at the IC title. Yeah,
kind of had some of that feel to it.
So,
but one thing that did confuse me. So, Bron Breakker was the champion.
Yes,
Bron lost the match. Why
Bron
is
didn't.
Penta getting the first shot? Penta wasn't champion. Penta's won a couple matches, but Bron was the champ.
I mean,
I know
I think we're
why.
gonna.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying from a storyline standpoint.
truthfully, the way they did Braun losing the match. So I'll give you the real reason. I'll give you a better storyline reason, at least, other than just what happens in the next segment. Before, as I bury the lead like I shouldn't do. Bad host. Bad Steve. But what I will say, the reason to not have Braun go after the title, to not get the first shot, is because there's no version of that where Braun doesn't actually lose the match or doesn't get the title back.
I was thinking,
and if
that if he is the Judgment Day would come in and jump him, and that's how he wins the match, but he doesn't win back the title.
But then he has to run a program with them, and at some point, if you run a program,
or there's a cheating, or they cheat to help him win, kind of like they did with Penta.
See, the only thing with that, and this is where I'm going to go with it, is any cheating, anything like that, is going to keep Breaker around the IC title. And I don't think they want him around the IC title.
I'm going to throw in one scenario that I think would have been really cool if Dom would start to do this kind of thing. I think it would really kind of tie to that lineage and be a major throwback to his Uncle Eddie. If he did the chair thing, where he tossed the chair and he acted like he was hit to get Breaker disqualified. That, I wouldn't mind that. If Dom does that kind of stuff, I think that would be genius.
And I think that puts him full face at that point. What I will say about this segment, just in general, I know Triple H and WWE in general wants to do this long-term storytelling stuff. I think the story with Finn and Dom and the Judgment Day, whatever they're doing with it, I think it needs to come to an end soon. Like, I think we're turning the corner now. I almost kind of wish it was done, but I'm giving them a little bit of grace to say, hey, whatever the real finish is, I really need to see it now, because I'm getting to the point where I've let you simmer long enough. The sauce is ready to eat. Like, I need my pasta, and I think we're ready for it.
I mean, it's true. You're 100% right. You're not wrong. I mean, it's ran its course.
It's ran its course. And my question is, at the end of all this, because like you said, Dom's getting cheered. Truthfully, though, they're all heels. So if you have Dom and the rest of Judgment Day turn on Finn, that's the heel move. Do you have Finn go back to being a babyface? It seems weird.
It's going to be Finn. I think it's going to be Finn is the one who beats the crap out of Dominic, and you're going to see it fall apart where JD and him are ultimately going to go their own way, and Carlito's going to kind of still stick with Dom and go their way too.
I could see that.
And Raquel and Liv will kind of do their own thing a little bit, but she'll still sort of kind of be with Dom every now and then. I think that's what's going to end up happening, and they're going to start a program with Finn and Dominic fighting over the title.
I can see that. All right, let's get to the final segment of the show, and that is Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman coming out. I really like this. Like I said, I like the two of them together. I'm not mad about this.
I have an issue. I do have an issue with Paul Heyman with one thing, and I can't. I rarely will say this, but as someone who was a manager, and I understand my place. He got friggin' Superman punched by Roman Reigns, and he was back up within not even a minute. Like, he was back up in the. Oh, he was leaning and he was leaning and sitting in the corner. His ass should have been knocked the fuck out. Pardon my language.
He should have waited until they picked him up.
He should have been down. Exactly.
He should have waited until
at all.
He should have waited until.
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember when I took the punch. I don't remember if you remember when I took the punch from what's his name, Tank Tolan, and all. And I didn't move at all until my guys started to pull me out of the ring. Then I'm like, kind of kick my feet a little bit.
I agree with that.
Because that to me is what especially someone as Paul Heyman. What's Paul Heyman? He's what, maybe 5'8", 5'9",
something like that, and he's older
pounds,
and he's out of shape.
And he's like 60, and he's close to 60 years old.
I'll tell you. I know I give WWE grace. Here's where I give Paul Heyman a lot of grace because I love Paul Heyman.
And don't get me wrong, Paul Heyman has earned a lot of grace. He has
and that's where I'm at.
Mind, like
Paul Heyman is allowed to make a mistake every 10 years or so without us jumping on it, because that's about his average right now.
Honestly, I'm nitpicking. Let's be honest, I'm nitpicking. I mean, if that's all I can do say about the segment in a negative way is nitpick a little thing like that.
That's all I have.
It's a great segment.
I'm gonna ask you, man. Did you have Bron Breakker coming out and saving Seth Rollins on your bingo card for 2025? Because I did not.
I did not.
I
didn't either.
Breakker being a Paul Heyman guy is not what surprises me. Breakker getting brought in as a Paul Heyman guy right now, that shocked the hell out of me. And honestly, you know me well enough.
I think the aspect of him as a Paul Heyman guy made total sense.
It makes total sense.
I agree with you. I didn't see it happening the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and like I said, you know me well enough. We've talked enough. Normally, I kind of have this. This was not one of those. This was one of those times. This not on my bank. Nowhere on it. I did not have him teaming up with.
Off guard too.
And truthfully, I see nothing but good coming of this for Bron Breakker. He gets to sit.
I think it's a genius move.
Well, let's look at everyone that's involved in this angle right now. I'm going to go with the best last on this one. Bron Breakker now gets to sit at the learning tree of Seth Rollins, of CM Punk, of Roman Reigns, and of Paul Heyman. You are now sitting. You are sitting at the
learning tree, because I was actually going to make that reference of how like Big Bill and Brian Keith are getting that rub of working with Jericho. It's the same thing.
See, I feel like this is the better rub,
working with all those guys.
Exactly, and this is.
I think it's a good rub no matter what. You know, they're good rubs, period. But you know,
but think about it. Bron Breakker, as good as he is, because he's phenomenal. He's so good.
Oh, he's so good.
He's that a freak.
He speared. It was Roman, right? Wasn't it Roman? He speared
Roman
through the timekeepers area.
Yeah. He speared Roman. He double speared Roman because he speared him once to save him.
You're prepared for it,
but still,
I know Roman's prepared to take the spear, but
that's still a wall.
You see that guy come flying around at you, and I know you're prepared for it. It's not like you're not, but even still, I'd still be like, oh dear God, this guy's going to friggin' destroy me. Even knowing it's kayfabe, I still would be like, this guy's going to fucking kill me.
What I am going to say, so this is the only critique I'm ever going to have bad about Bron Breakker. And him hanging out with these guys is what's going to fix it. Bron Breakker, for the freak athlete and the natural gifts that he has already. The one thing he does not have is the know-how to. He has the want to. He doesn't have the know-how to yet. This is where he gets the know-how to. And I'm going to put something else in perspective. I'm going to put something else into perspective. Bron Breakker is 27 years old.
I thought he was even a little younger than that.
I think he just turned 27. The last time I looked, when Jacob Fatu debuted, I looked at Breakker's age because I had already been touting the idea of Breakker versus Fatu. And Fatu is 30 or 32, and Breakker was 26 at the time.
27, 20, he'll turn 28 in October, Bron Breakker. Bron will turn 28 in October.
So Bron Breakker is a young man who has not had any injuries yet. I don't want him to get injured. What I'm saying is,
no,
he has 20 years left in his career. And we're just scratching the surface. We're scratching the surface with him. And I was
going to ask you this. Does he need to learn how to kind of slow down a little bit? Because it's cool looking that he's going 1,000 miles. an hour, but from a story standpoint, I feel like sometimes it gets lost what's happening because it's go, 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 go so fast that almost like taking a breath, letting people's minds catch up to what you're about to do, I feel like would help from a storytelling perspective. Am I off on that one? I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that one. I'm just curious of what your thought is.
No. Yeah. Yes and no. All right. So I'll give you, with the people he's been in the ring with up to this point. No, he doesn't need to slow down. Those are the guys that he needs to go a million miles an hour with. The even the Sammys. Like, yeah, he needs to go a certain speed with Sami Zayn. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Sammy is like kind of the cutoff for where we're looking at. Now then, Roman, yes. Seth will probably slow him down. Punk will absolutely slow him down. And be like, listen, kid, we need to work this story out. So the answer is yes, he does need to start slowing down now. But no, he didn't need to do this before. This is the point where these guys are going to start pulling the story out of him. Hey, hey, why don't you go back and look at your dad's matches and see how many times he went super fast? He doesn't. He just hit super hard. He made one clothesline mean something. And like, think about if he does the super rev up. It's going to make him look like he's going fast. But if he does the crisscross on the ropes and then nails just one lariat, and you're like, oh man, like that guy looks dead, and then he just plays it like he milks it, like, yeah, I did that, and then slowly just drags the guy up and throws him up into a gorilla press and holds him there. That's going to be the slowdown. He's still going to look like he's going a million miles an hour. He's just not going to be going a million miles an hour anymore. And he's still going to be the athlete that he is. He's still going to run the ring ropes at 26 million miles an hour, or whatever they say it is.
Well, and that was something we were talking about the other night, too, where we were saying it'd be nice to see him also move away from the spear.
I'd like to see him move away from the spear.
What an impactful, and I agree with you. I think what a finishing maneuver. That would be like almost like taking someone's head off.
Yeah, like if he hit that crisscross that he hits for the spear, where they call it the super spear, but he nailed a lariat instead. Hell, you know what? Call it a Steiner line again. If you want, it's the only time I'm going to.
That would be the great way of doing it.
It's the only way I'm going to allow you to call it a line, because I still call it a lariat. It's my show. But if you call it a Steiner line, that's the name of the move. It's a Steiner line. And you know,
I think there's so much potential to take his character, take him to heights that are maybe since Goldberg, like that kind of
that type of popularity, but but with better. And again, like I said, if you threw him in there with Cross, think about the story that Cross could teach him to tell. Because Cross doesn't move he doesn't move a million miles an hour either, but he looks like he does sometimes. Oh man,
there's a few people I could see Braun Breaker really learning from, like you said, with Roman, with Seth, with
Punk, all this stuff that they're doing now.
Doing those guys, but yeah, Karrion Kross would be a great one for him to learn from.
I'm saying it right now.
I think Gunther would be a great one for him to learn from.
I think Gunther would be a good one.
And Braun, like that would have a great learning aspect.
This is where I'm at. I don't call it for next year's Mania. I'm going to be smart enough to hide that. WrestleMania 43, because next year will be 42. So WrestleMania 43, which will probably be in Indianapolis, will be headlined by Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu.
And I think that would be a phenomenal match.
It's going to be
without a doubt.
You want to know what that's going to be?
It'll kind of be it'll kind of be like the new immovable object versus, or what is it? It's the
Unstoppable Force versus the immovable object.
Unstoppable Force versus the immovable object. Yeah. It kind of would have that kind of feel to it.
Yep. And you want to know, and character-wise, because of how they're going to build their company around those two guys, because I think they are, I'm going to give it to you a different way. They're The Rock and Austin.
Ooh.
You're gonna build the company around those two guys, and they're gonna carry you into the next era,
the next generation.
the next generation. They're gonna be the guys that even when they're older, they're still gonna be headlining with the younger guys to teach them how it should be done.
I like that. I think I definitely see that potential there, assuming they both stay healthy. Assuming
it's all I want in the world.
The writers, that the powers that be open their eyes to see what is in front of them, which we can see. The talent, the incredible skill level already of Bron, with the just incredible charisma that is Jacob Fatu. Like, he has such
Jacob Fatu's a freak
factor about him. I love it.
They're both freaks.
He has that.
They're both
freaks.
freaks.
You're like, oh my gosh,
I gotta watch
without
them.
a doubt.
I have to watch them. But that is our review of the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. Legion, as of starting next week, we are done with WrestleMania coverage. We are done with all of that stuff finally, which means we are going back to our normal recordings. We will start doing our weekly shows. We will start doing our normal weekly shows. We do still have some bonus content planned. Slim knows this. I've actually spoken to his tag team partner, Mr. Howard, about all of them jumping on for our eventual everyone's favorite title belt design episode. And I would love to have you guys on for that.
I can't wait.
So with that, Slim, you got anything you want to leave the Legion off with?
Please do us a favor. Check out VOC Nation, VOC.com. For Fridays, I don't do it every Friday. I try to do it as often as I can. Sometimes life and schedules don't always align, but I do try to do it as often as I can with our Millennial Sports Gladiators show. Talking a little wrestling every now and then, but really giving you a chance with a little bit of the other sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, heck, even a little golf, tennis, UFC, whenever, whatever's a big event going on, throw in some different aspects in there. Occasionally I'll have some people on with me. We'll talk, other topics too. We've talked video games, sports video games, just a lot of fun stuff like that. So Millennial Sports Gladiators, check us out.
Again,
with that too.
Link down below. I'll have VOCNation.com on the down there for you to click and find Mr. Burgundy and his own personal shows, as well as the link for the show for the Strohs GoFundMe, and of course the other nonprofits that we do support. And as always, all of our stuff, please, Legion, reach out to us. Follow us, like us, subscribe, comment, whatever it is that you're supposed to be hitting on whatever streaming platform you're watching, listening to us on. Please do it. Tell your friends. Like Showtime says, if you don't have friends, tell a stranger. Let them know that we are the mediumest pro wrestling podcast on the planet right now. But we're getting better. We are close to being great. I think we're good now. We are getting better. We have so much content coming out, and it doesn't look like we're stopping anytime soon. And please let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. And with that, guys, as always, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.